Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host today, and on today's show, I have Darren Myers with the Freedom Journey Show. Now, you might be saying, what is the Freedom Journey Show? You're going to have to stay tuned because you'll find out a lot more about this special project that is happening in Branson. Now, Memorial Day is right around the corner, and this is an American holiday that is always observed on the last Monday of May. And it honors the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. That's one of the great things I love about Branson is we honor our veterans, we honor the military, we appreciate people's service, and I think it is one of the only places in the country where you will see during a show where they'll ask veterans and active service military to stand up and be recognized in a show. I don't think that happens anywhere else in the country. And so, just to give you a little bit of history about Memorial Day, it was known as Decoration Day, and it originated the years following the Civil War. It became an official federal holiday in 1971. And so, of course, many Americans observed Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries or memorials, holding family gatherings. And it also is considered the start of the summer season. So, as we are right around Memorial Day, we want to thank all of those who have served our country and have given their lives for our country. I do want to talk a moment as well about all the golf accolades that Branson has been getting. Of course, we talk about shows here all the time, but Branson is a destination that appeals to a lot of different people and doing a lot of different things. And so here's some recent things that from different folks out there. So Golf Pass Golf Advisor, the best 25 Missouri golf courses in 2022. Buffalo Ridge was number 2, Top of the Rock number 5, Branson Hills number 7, Paynes Valley number 12, and Thousand Hills number 13. So 5 courses out of the top 25 here in Branson, Missouri. The Golf Week, best courses you can play by state. Number 1, Ozark National. Number 2, Buffalo Ridge. Number 3, Branson Hills. Paynes Valley, number 4, and Ledgestone, number 7. The top 4 courses in the state here in Branson by Golf Week. Golf Magazine, the top 100 courses in the U.S. in 2021. Ozarks National, number 54. The best family-friendly golf resorts in the United States, 2019, Big Cedar Lodge, number 1. So, and I've got even more on here, but folks, if you want to play golf or if you're looking for a vacation destination where you can play golf, Branson has exploded in the golfing world, and so be sure to check out all the golf courses here in Branson. They're all over town, south of town, west of town, east of town, north of town, they're all over. And you'll have a great time playing golf here in Branson. We'll be back in just a second with Darren Myers. Hey folks, welcome back to the show, and today on the show for the first time ever, I have Darren Myers with the Freedom Journey Show. And so Darren, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, earlier, on last week's episode, I said your last name was Myers, mine is Meyer, and so we are not related, and you have the S and I don't.
Yeah.
And but welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. We're glad to be here.
And so you've got something new in town that we're going to talk about, but I always I have a format where we want to talk history and understand your history and how you got to this point in Branson, Missouri.
Well, it's been a journey. I grew up in Lebanon area, so we've always come to Branson through the years for vacation and family time. But basically, I was a youth pastor, got a music education degree, and was always involved in writing and arranging, singing music, and then worked with a lot of choirs and events and cantatas. And so through the years, I became a pastor then in Rolla, Missouri, and we decided to have an annual picnic down at the park called Patriot Day Rally. And it was really just a chance to honor law enforcement and military. But it also, our main goal was really to take the quotes of the founders and make them come alive for everybody in this generation. So we had a thing down at the park with fireworks and outdoor video screen and all of that. But we tried to use music and reenactors and children and videos to get those quotes first and foremost in the minds of the people, and really just reconnect us with our very unique American history. So we have a rich history, and a lot of it's based on faith. It all goes back to the Creator, and our rights come from the Creator. So there's just a lot of great things that our forefathers said, and very relevant. And so that was our goal. Well, we did that for 7 years, and our big year we had 5,000 folks down at the park. And
this is you're kind of a pastor at the church when you're doing this, and it's almost like maybe an outreach type
Yeah.
event or a community event.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we didn't mention our church or try to promote ourselves. It was just a gift to the community because we know there's a need for this education. And, you know, plus we'd have reenactors and fife and drum groups walking around and a bald eagle and this and that. So it was a lot of fun for the community, and all the military guys brought their stuff, and the highway patrol and local law enforcement brought SWAT team equipment and all that, Homeland Security. So it was a great community event. But, you know, the whole time we were just celebrating one nation under God, celebrating the whole concept of freedom, and going back to the Declaration and the Constitution and just reinforcing those basic principles. Keep it real simple, but it's really inspiring and emotional, and it was a gift to the community. And one of the things I learned through that is that even though a lot of that's under attack, there is a real hunger for that message, and folks just got excited about it. They came out of the woodwork, you know, to be a part of that. And it taught us that there's still a lot of God-fearing patriots out there that understand what's going on, and wanted it was a great opportunity to bring your kids and let them wave a flag, and just, it wasn't political. It's not, you know, right versus left or parties or anything like that. It was just freedom. It's just the principles of freedom.
There's a lot of people that want freedom out there, right? But I'm guessing you've, in some cases, like maybe in America, we've taken freedom for granted a little bit, and so this is kind of saying we shouldn't maybe be doing that.
Exactly, and one of the things that we really try to point out is that you can't appreciate freedom if you don't understand tyranny. So we talk about tyranny a lot because, you know, this generation, we've so far removed from that it's hard for us really to comprehend how bad it is. And so we really try to take people back before there was an America and how the world looked for thousands of years, you know, basically ruled by tyrants. And the whole idea of we the people, or the people hiring their leaders, that was just a really revolutionary thought. And so we try to revisit that because that gives you an appreciation for freedom.
Yeah. So you're doing this festival, or you're doing this Patriot Day Rally in Rolla, Missouri, and so how does that get you to Branson?
Well, my grandkids moved to South Springfield, so my sons and their families, and then my parents had actually moved to Branson, so we got a place kind of in between Springfield and Branson. And after pastoring, we started a ministry called Freedom Focus, and we were just traveling from California to New York to wherever, Florida. For about 4 years, we did nothing but travel and preach and teach these things, and just try to encourage folks, you know, don't give up, keep praying. We're still it's a spiritual battle, but it's not over. And so, you know, we did that for years, and then thought, how amazing would it be to have a place in one place where folks could come visit us, and we'll do everything we can to make it first class and build an education center. But, you know, so one thing led to another as we moved into the Branson area, and thought, let's give this a try. So we started first of all with Freedom Journey show, and just did it in a couple smaller theaters, almost as an experiment to see if it would even work. And we had just a tremendous response, a lot of encouragement, and again, folks, we could just tell they're hungry for this message, and really encouraged by it. A lot of them said, "Man, I'm going to bring my family back to this. I want my grandkids to hear this," that kind of thing.
Wow. So you're testing the waters with some select shows throughout the year in Branson previously to say, could this concept work? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's wise, because you'll sometimes see where someone will go full blow and they don't test the waters. Mm-hmm. But I've also seen where people have been very successful by testing the waters, and then they say, okay, here's what we need to do different, or it does work, really, really well. Mm-hmm. So when did you just say, hey, I'm jumping in both feet to try and do something in Branson?
Yeah, probably 4 years ago, I started. Of course, we're out traveling the country doing these conferences, but we would try to go to museums and anything we could as we're out there traveling. And I guess I just got the burden that there needs to be a museum that is not afraid of the faith part. Because a lot of you out in Washington and Philadelphia, they'll every once in a while throw out a quote there about prayer or about faith or the Creator, but it's really not prominent at all, and some places don't mention it at all. Well, our view is that the whole Declaration of Independence is based on a Creator and the individual, and our rights come from God, and the whole purpose of government is to protect the God-given rights. And so if you remove the Creator, government becomes everything, and that's been the problem throughout history. And
man,
so,
that is so good. I'd just like to just dwell on that for a moment. That was really good. It's a worldview difference, and it's a big difference if you believe that God is the giver of rights versus government. Mm-hmm. We're going to stop there because that is really good. Y'all think about that for a moment. We're going to be back in just a second to talk more about what is the Freedom Journey Show and this whole project. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm talking with Darren Myers today with the Freedom Journey Show. So Darren, kind of lay out, what is the Freedom Journey Show? What's this whole project that you're trying to accomplish? And we'll talk a lot more about that.
Sure. So our long-range goal is to build a museum, a kids' play area, as well as a theater, and then have a bookstore and a coffee shop. So this complex will be along the lines of the Creation Museum in Kentucky, or really our gold standard is like the Lincoln Museum in Springfield, Illinois. So we're a walk-through experiential museum where you walk through time. So we start with the individual and move to the tyrant, and then move up to the pilgrims, and then the founding documents and that era. And then the result of freedom, the blessings of liberty, and all the creativity and putting a man on the moon and all of that. And then the modern enemies of freedom, the cost of freedom, which is a tribute to the military and law enforcement, and then the future of freedom, which basically it's in our hands. So that whole walkthrough, we'll orchestrate it and create, the visuals and let the quotes tell the story, because the quotes are just so powerful, and it's hard to argue with the direct quotes of these people, that went before us. Very inspiring and very needed today. So that's the long-range goal. The kids' play area would be aiming at 10 and under to teach basic principles of government and as our founders saw it. So the theater is already there. So we've obtained the old Tony Orlando Yellow Ribbon Theater, and it's a beautiful 2,000-seat theater sitting on 10 acres. It's just amazing.
And it is a very nice
building.
theater. It is a very nice theater.
Yeah, and the bookstore and lobby area is just great. So we're using it. We've already done 4 shows this year, and then we'll be doing them all the way through the middle of December. We've got a great crew of singers and musicians. And so what we do is a 2-hour show with a 15-minute intermission. We call it Freedom Journey. It's an overview of that whole story. So it is educational. And a lot of people walk away saying, wow, I didn't know that, or boy, I learned a lot today. But we try not to make it boring at all. There's a lot of music. We start and finish with music, and we go all the way through with music, live music. And so we do an overview of America's most popular songs from Yankee Doodle, which was 1754, all the way up to today. And it's just an overview, a lot of fun. And then, but we also have a tribute to the Declaration and the Constitution. We have reenactors, Patrick Henry does the Give Me Liberty or Death speech, and then Benjamin Franklin does the Sparrow speech. And so it's all orchestrated, and it's back and forth between live videos and quotes, and then we have it's immigrants that have given their testimonies, and we weave that through there as well.
So it's really a show unlike any other in Branson, because it's not just a music show. You have music, you have like kind of what I call multimedia presentation, it's educational, so it's completely different.
Yeah, no, it's not like anything we've seen anywhere. But, it's definitely good for all ages. We've had folks, in their 80s and 90s say, that was great, I've not heard that, or I haven't heard that in a long time. And then they'll typically say, I'm going back and, we're going to bring a church group, or I'm going to tell others, or we're going to get our grandkids, or the next time my kids are in Branson, I'm going to make sure they come. So that's kind of what we were hoping for, because we want it to appeal to all ages. We use little children at the beginning and at the end. So it's a pretty good mixture.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've got your brochure here, and it says Adult Tickets 2022. That's like probably the most reasonable show in town, too.
Yeah.
And veterans and first responders free.
Right. We want to honor them. And this is our first year to do a full year. So that's why we're having this introductory price, $20.22 for the year. And then law enforcement and first responders and military are free.
Yeah. And so you've got a beautiful theater. Show times are, folks, and I'm looking on the schedule here, and here's what I'm going to tell you is different months have different dates, but overall, starting, and we'll just say in June, mid-June, you are Thursday at 10 a.m., Friday at 10 a.m., and Saturday at 2 p.m., and that kind of runs throughout the season. There's a couple dates where you're doing a 7 p.m. show in November. You're just going to have to check out the schedule. And you can go to freedomjourneyshow.com to check out that schedule. But in this process, you are trying to make this vision come alive. You're trying to raise money to make this happen. Because it is a nonprofit, right?
Right. We're a 501c3. We've gotten this far just on donations of individuals. We have a long-range goal to raise about $6 million to complete the museum and the kids' colonial village. It'll be an indoor village with a tree and schoolhouse and different buildings. So yeah, that's everything. It's they can jump online at freedomencounter.com and learn about the whole vision. And if if anyone would like to donate, there's a donate button there. We're encouraging maybe a monthly commitment, for 3 years. Just every little bit helps. And we're doing this as a community. It's a service to this generation. We're trying to create an educational space that's still fun and high tech, but talking about the old principles that really never grow old, the principles of freedom and life and liberty and the individual, and the purpose of government is to protect those rights. So we're just trying to keep that going for this next generation.
Yeah, so I think that mission is so important, and as we launch this episode, it's about Memorial Day, and we've had so many people that have sacrificed for this country.
Exactly.
And so we want to we want to give our hats off to all of those people, those men and women who have died serving. And so when you started in ministry 20, 30 years ago, did you ever think you'd be in Branson doing a show?
Absolutely not. No, would have never crossed my mind.
So it's interesting how God moves people.
It is.
And so I've been to some of your events out there. You've also had special events from time to time out at the theater as well. Can you mention some of those that maybe you've done in the past?
Right. Well, and we intend to have even more guest speakers and special events in the evenings. But William Federer, we've had him out there in the last few months. There's a group right now that's doing Pilgrim's Progress musical that's amazing. We're trying to find things like that kind of fit under the umbrella of what we're trying to communicate. But yeah, there's special events on the horizon. Bluegrass groups and other events that I think will be really family friendly and helpful to the cause.
Yeah. Okay, folks, that is new information that you might not have known about happening here in Branson, Missouri. This is over in the Falls Village. It's 3220 Falls Parkway. If you know where the Sonic is on Highway 165, this theater is right behind that. It was the original Tony Orlando Yellow Ribbon Theater. Tony was there really a short time, and then for a while it was a church, but that theater really sat empty for a very long time. I think they took good care of it while it sat empty, and now you guys have taken that over. So I'm excited to see what God does through you and through this show. And so keep plugging away, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate the prayers and the support.
Folks, we'll be back in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're wrapping the show up today. We want to thank Darren Myers with the Freedom Journey Show. And I just love kind of what he wants to accomplish in his mission and just doing it in a unique way. So if you want to see a unique show in Branson that combines music and what I call multimedia, drama, all of that, you're going to want to check the Freedom Journey Show out. Now, the dates of their show are typically on a Thursday, Friday at 10 o'clock and a Saturday at 2, but it depends on the month. And so you'll need to check that out. You can, and they're also located at 3220 Falls Parkway. You can go to thefreedomencounter.com or thefreedomjourneyshow.com. I think they're also available on ibranson.com as well. Anyway, very exciting things happening there. Now, some upcoming events, things that are going to happen in mid-June, and I'm going to skip a little bit of the things happening in NMA. Happened the 1st of June. I did that last week. But some things that are coming up mid-June. We've got Confederate Railroad June 19th coming up. Neil McCoy's coming back to town June 19th and 20th. The Terry Bradshaw Show will be back in town on June 22nd. And Sawyer Brown with Easton Corbin and Heath Sanders June 24th. That's out at Black Oak Amphitheater. Brian Copeland and the Mixtapes June 24th. Jeff Dunham June 25th and Celtic Throne June 30th. So those are special one-off things happening towards the end of June. If you're wanting to know more about those shows, you can go to ibranson.com and check out information there. Now, I've got to tell you this. Next week's show, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I've got a guy, I've never met him before, has never been on the show. His name is Steve Sanders, and he is the mentalist guy, or that mentalist guy. And he's over at the Nashville Roadhouse Live Theater, but these mentalist people just blow me away. And so I'm anxious to talk to him and learn more about him and his skill set and what he does and those type of things. So you'll want to be sure to tune in next week for that show. Now, if you have a guest you would like to see on the show, be sure to go to our Facebook page and message us and let us know who that is, and we'll do our best to get them on a future episode. And be sure to like us on Facebook. Let us know what you're thinking. Share information with us. We always love that. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Play Branson.